You are tuned in to a Fireside Chat with Zany Mystic. Join us now on another exciting metaphysical journey. Relax, tune in, drop out, and take a seat by the fire as we explore new realms and possibilities. This is Magenta Pixie. You can find me at magentapixie.weebly.com. But now, here is Zany Mystic and guest. Enjoy the show.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a Fireside Chat with Zany Mystic. I'm your host, Lance White. Tonight, my guest is Robert Hitt. Robert has been an independent astrological researcher since 1974. After 20-plus years of research, he started the website www.astroecon.com in 1996. From 1996 until 2001, he produced the #1 website on astrofinance. Starting in 2001, he was hired by a London investment banking institution as a consultant and lived the life of Riley, working from the beach on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. In 2006, he decided to head for the hills in preparation for the expected economic calamity, which did occur in 2008. Robert is known over many years as a very controversial character combining deep research into macrofinance, high-end spiritual concepts, and geopolitical detective-like investigations of the hidden hand behind the reality-creating machinery. What seemed off the wall, written 5 years ago, is starting to become more obvious to the general population now. His knowledge base is still years ahead of most peers in his field. As of late 2008, he has gone on strike, posting no comments or predictions on his site as a form of protest against unconstitutional laws which limit free speech. The duration of that strike may last into the fall of 2010, when he expects Americans to regain the right to speak freely once more. Let's find out more about this right now. Hi, Robert. How are you?
Okay. How are you?
Well,
I hear you're getting some shaking going on your side of the continent.
Oh, my God, yes. Well, we had a couple of days of, I think it was a 4.5 in Southern California, and just today we had a 6.5, I believe, right off of Eureka. Eureka!
Right. Mm-hmm.
What do you think? I'm already getting sidetracked, but this is all tied into what you're saying is coming, isn't it?
Well, let me put it this way. I've done study on the Mayan calendar as well as the geocentric astrology, and the two are indicating that we're in the final year and a half of a crisis building up that will lead to vast changes in the way the world works starting in 2012. I think that pretty much the change will occur before 2012 even gets here.
You mentioned you have some terrific articles on your website, which I recommend that everybody go do their homework. And we'll mention that again before the end of the show. But you have an article on beliefs, another article which questions, are Americans too broken for the truth to set us free? And it's an amazing piece of writing. And you also align with Carl Kalleman's concepts that the true date of the Mayan end date is in October of 2011. Would you like to share about any of those things?
Well, I think that the most important thing that we can discuss is the Mayan calendar shift. Mm-hmm. The reason is because there really is no solution to our economic and political problems until we evolve to a point where we can actually make a choice not to live under tyranny, slavery, and a lot of illusions that is what the case is today. It's appalling to those of us that have been watching for a long time, seeing what's happening to the world and the country, and see the level of deception. And the only antidote for that is to sort of grow up and wake up and assume the responsibility of a conscious human spirit. And from that point, we can start to say, no, we're not participating in this anymore. And I believe that the end of October of 2011 is the underworld building process is complete of the entire time structure. And at that point, we go into a 14-day ultra acceleration that culminates on 11/11/11. If you extrapolate the evolutionary acceleration all the way to an infinite change in no amount of time, that date is 11/11/11. Mm-hmm. This is something that's not discussed a lot. I think it's annoying that Kalaman's work doesn't get more credit because it backtests and it's exquisite in its beauty. Mm-hmm. And what this transition, I believe, is sort of the equivalent of the second coming that the Christians are looking for. Mm-hmm. That it's an opportunity for us to assume a fifth-dimensional awareness and become free of the constraints of four dimensions, which is what we live in now. I agree with everything you've been saying, and no matter how many times I look at these diagrams on the Mayan calendar, my little pea brain gets confused about the way that it works. And you've laid it out very nicely, and maybe you could help me and all of us understand a little bit better what these concepts are and how, because it's about consciousness, isn't it? Well, it's about the evolution of consciousness.
Okay.
and the pyramid is the physical model that we can look at, and the base of the pyramid is 16 billion years, and then each layer on top of that is 20 times faster. So what happens is that as the evolution increases, then the amount of time that it takes for one order of magnitude of change decreases by 20 times. So what we're in right now is a period where you have one order of magnitude of change in only 12 years. This started in 1999. And in February of 2011, we ramp up again 20 times so that we have an order of magnitude of change in only 260 days.
Wow.
Each one of these stages builds upon the one before it. We're in an ethical and an integrity testing and development area since 1999. I think that's pretty obvious, that integrity is everything and a lack of it. Mm-hmm. And in February of 2011, we go into a 260-day period that has to do with conscious co-creation.
Wow.
So that's sort of the ultimate in human evolution, when we can become aware of our field energies to a point where we start to be able to be conscious of what we're creating out in the world that we live in. And it's essentially magic.
Yes. Now, some people, let's just say there's a shadow element, have managed to sequester away this information and have been using it, apparently, to keep us from knowing the truth. Is that an accurate statement?
Well, it certainly looks that way. I'm an astute observer of events as they're occurring, and what it looks like is that there's scripting going on, and there's a plan. And it wouldn't surprise me if Mayan calendar timing is part of the scripting. And
right.
It definitely shows up in the geocentric astrological aspects. And the way that events are happening now in the context of the regular astrology is pretty stunning, too.
Huh.
So I believe that this is an attempt to keep the majority of people from waking up, and I am, and other people in my position that have been at this quite a while.
Yes.
We've sort of taken it upon ourselves to, beat the drums and yell from the rooftops and to try and, get people to wake up, because we're the ones that make the decision. They cannot enslave us unless we give them our consent.
Yes, yes. And unfortunately, it appears as if the majority, at least until now, has been giving away their power to others.
Right. And it's very disappointing. It's demoralizing to those of us that have been working for a long time. I have conversations with other people in my field and other areas of forecasting and observation, and we're all kind of reporting the same thing. It's very difficult to watch this.
Yeah,
I know that Webbot Cliff is having a very difficult time of it, and I had a conversation today with Les Visible, who many people may or may not know, but this is one of the truly brave warriors for truth that's out there on the internet right now, and he's having a really tough time of it. Mm-hmm. It's almost like you don't know what to do at this point except sit and wait. It feels like time is so short that there really isn't a whole lot that you can do except hold on tight and, buckle your chin strap.
Yeah. I agree with you totally on that. I read Les's blog today, and it was absolutely brilliant. I agreed with it totally. What is his blog site anyway?
Well, you can get to it by going to Smoking Mirrors.
Smoking Mirrors, yes, yeah.
And he's at a point where he's wanting to throw his hands up. And if you've been following Cliff has also been there in the last year, and I've sort of shut down my comments. And it isn't that we're being selfish, as a few people have accused me of. It's just that I don't know what to say to people anymore.
Yeah.
Those that are wanting to wake up at this point, if you haven't already started, you're hopelessly behind, it feels like.
Yeah.
And I hate to be judgmental about it, but I'm trying to help people, and those that have not really put much effort out up until recently, it blows their mind. They cannot handle what I can teach them.
Yes, yeah. I totally agree with you on all of this, and I've been following Cliff's work for a while now, and I've had him on the show a couple of times, and I'll have him back as many times as he'll come back.
Uh-huh.
But his reports are, his site is halfpasthuman.com,
right.
And I think just about everybody that's listening will probably be familiar with his webbot projects, and
right.
It's absolutely required reading. If you want to know what's going on.
Right.
So,
well, Cliff and I have been in contact for years. We do share information. We try not to cross-pollinate one another.
Right.
But Cliff is able to see the thought forms on down the timeline.
Wow. And
he sees what is being created at a particular point in time from the present.
Wow.
Now, the astrology gives me the ability to know about a quality of what a particular time out on the timeline is going to be, what types of energies are there. Mm-hmm. But I have to use intuition and more or less psychic abilities in order to see these things, whereas Cliff is actually tapping into the sort of mass psychic ability that leaks out in the language. It's brilliant, and the two things that we do complement one another.
Yeah, they're beautiful aspects of expressing what's really happening in the quote real world, which is largely invisible for us right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, the past does not exist in anything but a quantum sense, and the future does not exist in anything but the quantum sense. Mm-hmm. Now, here's a concept that people don't think about much, but it's true. From the present, you can change the past, as well as change the future. Mm-hmm. And how you change the past is you change your perception of it. Mm-hmm. And then that affects what you're seeing in the present.
Right.
and this is one of the tricks of the propagandists, is that they rewrite history.
You are tuned in to a Fireside Chat with Zany Mystic. Join us now on another exciting metaphysical journey. Relax, tune in, drop out, and take a seat by the fire as we explore new realms and possibilities. This is Magenta Pixie. You can find me at magentapixie.weebly.com. But now, here is Zany Mystic and guest. Enjoy the show.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a Fireside Chat with Zany Mystic. I'm your host, Lance White. Tonight, my guest is Robert Hitt. Robert has been an independent astrological researcher since 1974. After 20-plus years of research, he started the website www.astroecon.com in 1996. A very controversial character combining deep research into macrofinance, high-end spiritual concepts, and geopolitical detective-like investigations of the hidden hand behind the reality-creating machinery. What seemed off the wall, written 5 years ago, is starting to become more obvious to the general population now. His knowledge base is still years ahead of most peers in his field. As of late 2008, he has gone on strike, posting no comments or predictions on his site as a form of protest against unconstitutional laws which limit free speech. The duration of that strike may last into the fall of 2010, when he expects Americans to regain the right to speak freely once more. Let's find out more about this right now. Hi, Robert. How are you?
Okay. How are you?
Well, I
hear you're getting...
From 1996 until 2001, he produced the #1 website on astrofinance. Starting in 2001, he was hired by a London investment banking institution as a consultant and lived the life of Riley, working from the beach on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. In 2006, he decided to head for the hills in preparation for the expected economic calamity, which did occur in 2008. Robert is known over many years as a